Hi all, welcome back to more Europa Universalis, the price of power. This is the ambitious Margrave solo scenario. This will be my part 59, I think. Yes, 59. Okay, so watching back a little bit of footage from 56, I think it was, today. And I just uploaded that part not long after watching it. Yeah, not long ago. Anyway, that's probably irrelevant to where this video is catching you at the moment, isn't it? Anyway, military capacity. I'm not sure. I went and popped a question on Discord. My understanding of military capacity at first was that wherever the army is, you count the towns owned by that player realm and all adjacent areas as well, and that's your military capacity. So right now where Brandenburg is sitting, to me his military capacity is 1, 2, 3. That's what I thought of military capacity. Now if he was sitting in here, his military capacity would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So in here he's 3. But however, when we read it, page 22 in the rules it is. And this is because I decided this is how it then worked. But when I moved Austria bot from here down, I didn't do it that way. And that's why Austria, you can see its army is half sort of lying down. Now, to be honest, that army can probably stand up again from where it is, isn't it? Because it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In fact, these are 2s, aren't they? Yeah, I can probably stand these back up now because it's in an area. But that's not when I read it. It says a province can only contribute to no, hang on, that's not the right bit. Page 32. Yeah, military capacity is the measure of how many units a realm can muster in an area. So, how many units a realm can muster in this area, right? Let's look at Brandenburg. A realm's MC for any given area is equal to the combined tax value of that realm's own provinces and their vassal provinces and adjacent to that area. It does, however, including ports facing the sea non-hostile sea zone as this area. Well, there's no sea zones attached, but you can see if sea zones were going out and grabbing some of your other areas, they would be adjacent as well. Just the right adjacency. So that does indeed say that the military capacity right now is only 3. Because that he's only adjacent to this area that's got his own provinces. So, I mean, I think maybe that's what I've read before and took it like that. Now, I also want to say that watching video footage is how I may have interpreted it too. Now, I'm not saying that I might have blundered with that interpretation when watching video footage, and they might have been doing it right. And when I say right, I'm not quite sure what is right. If right now this has got a military capacity of 3, and we should have 1, 2, 3 units lying down that aren't part of that, they're not able to fight in that area, or it's the other bit. Now we haven't read on, so reading on, it says this value is used to determine how many regular and allied units a player realm can place into an area during a recruit unit's action. Mercenaries are not limited by MC. And it finishes off with equally important, MC is used to determine how many units an NPR will use to defend an area when under attack. Yeah, so interestingly with that, if you had an NPR that had units, if it had its own provinces and adjacent areas, you would count them as well. So interesting, that one, actually. I might not have considered that. I don't think we've came across that situation, but there could be, I think there is areas where you've got, there's one particular right there, where you've got Savoy in this area. So if we were attacking this realm in this area, then it wouldn't have a strength of 2, it would include this because it's adjacent, and it would include this because it's adjacent. So I think its strength would be 4 when it came to defend itself. Okay, that kind of makes sense. But, yeah, I'm not sure. So, right now, the fact that we've got an army of 6 units, but it's saying that our military capacity, I mean, if I want to recruit units at the time, well, I can't recruit anymore because my military capacity is only 3, and I've actually got 6 units in my army. But I mean, if I was to battle in there, and we have already done that, we've already battled in this area. We already did a land war in that area, land battle, and we used all our, let's say we lost a unit, so I think we had 7 or might have been 8. Actually, I think we had 8. I think he took 2 of us. So we had 8 units, and I took that to be that, well, we hadn't done any recruit units actually, we just brought this army with us. And we've got an army of 8 units, but I think previously my thinking of that wouldn't have been the case. And my army should only have been classed as 3 units. But I'm not sure either way. So, pop the question, and I've got an answer. It looks like it's mixed, so let's see if we can work this one out and sort it out. Okay, so the answer from Mix, which was interesting, and I thought, oh, okay, that's good. And then it got me thinking about something else. So I've asked a follow-up just to be sure about this. So what he explains is, a player's army depends on the number of military units you have recruited in it. Okay, full stop. So we had a recruited army of, let's just say we're looking at this just now. I think we lost 2, like I said. We've got a recruited army of 6 units, right? So that's a player's army. Now, the next sentence says, military capacity is a measurement of how many units you're allowed to recruit in a given area. Right, and I didn't quite click to this right there. It wasn't until a bit later on that I thought, well, we'll come back to that. He said, he finishes with, these 2 concepts, military capacity and how many units your armies have in them, are not related. Okay, that seems to suggest that the answer is that yes, I can be sitting in this area and have an army of 6 units where if I was looking at my military capacity right now, it would only be 3. So I was about to reply and just double check that that's what we're getting, and then I thought, oh, wait a minute, he's telling me military capacity is a measurement of how many units you're allowed to recruit in a given area. So if I'm sitting in that area right now, I can recruit 3 units. So, and I'm starting to think that that's what that does mean. That's what he's written down there. So we could add to our army by recruiting more units right where we're standing right now. And I think that's right. So I followed up with just the question, okay, so does this mean, from my example above, I could have an army of 7 that could participate in a land battle in that area, but it could also recruit 4 more units and have an army of 11. Cheers. My example was, let's just say I had an army of 7. An army of 7, and the MC for the area was 4. It's not exactly that. We've got an army of 6, and the MC for this area is 3. But same thing. So I've got a 6 and I've got a 3. So I can have a land battle in there with 6, but I could also, if I want to right now, I could recruit 3 more units. I think that's what's been said. So he hasn't come back just with that, but you get replies and reasonably quickly as well. So I will expect. I mean, I think I'm just looking for confirmation on what that is. So that does mean that the bot wouldn't have had the issues that it had, because it had its full army at the time, I think. I mean, the bot can only have that issue when we hit the military chart and it says spend 2 bot power to recruit 7, 9, 11 units. Now I wish there, well actually it links you to number 4, which says number of units recruited per bot power spent is determined by the chosen difficulty level. Yeah, so I'd be recruiting 9 units, but let's just say that it was in an area that the MC only allowed the recruitment of maybe 5 units where it was sitting. I wish it highlighted the fact there that you need to check for its MC, and then moves on to the next bit, and then it checks for the MAC, and then the MAC is a slightly different thing from the MC. Well, in actual fact, hang on, the Mac would adjust this, wouldn't it? Yeah, I might need to look back on this. I want to say that there's probably not a problem, but let's look back on how this should have went when it was in Jutland and it moved down to here. What would the state of his army been and its recruitment state as well? I don't think it matters, like I say, because it still actually has one available unit in its army, and I think where it's sitting right now means that these are all connected back to the capital now, aren't they? So the MAC says that these are all available. And the MAC is different from the MC. That's what I've got to remember, that there is a difference there. Right, okay, and Max did come back saying that was correct, what I just stated. So, good. So, it does mean that we've done everything properly with Brandenburg. However, we've got some new knowledge how that works. So, yeah, I can recruit. And somebody also added, Finn also added that, I mean, when I said I would have an army of 7. Remember, the example I gave is slightly different numbers, but so I said if I had an army of 7, I could then recruit 4 units to give me a total of 11. And Finn added that you could also add +3 mercenaries as well, because they don't count for your MC, to give you a total of 14. My reply there was that I'm very poor right now, but good to be reminded of the fact that mercenaries don't count for your military capacity. Well, actually, I guess they don't then. I know they don't count towards your manpower. You know, you could have all your manpower in your army and still be able to recruit 3 mercenaries. So, yeah, maybe that's... Well, I think it says... Does it not mention it there on page 22? I think I mentioned it as well. Yeah, mercenaries are not limited to MC. It's got that in brackets at the end. So yeah, I did know that, but it's good to be highlighted, like I say, because mercenaries to hire, what are they for to hire for an infantry unit anyway? So 4, 8, 12. I could spend another 12 ducats to get another strength of 3 into my army, but yeah, I've got 3 loans and no money right now. So, well, that's not that we were wanting to do that now anyway. So we've had our war and our battle. What I'm just wanting to look back on is how this progressed, and then we'll get moving again. Okay, so I think there is a mistake here, because when the army is in Jutland, its army size at that time is only 2 units, right? And it's got the other 3, 6, 8 in the reserves, right? So I'm at the step now where I'm like I said, on the military chart. If you can, where are we? Military action. So I'm at the step now when it wants to spend 2 bot power. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't declare war. And then has its ally join in? Am I at the right bit here? I think so, because this is where it recruits the units. The thing is, it's recruiting the units in Jutland. That's the important part, right? Now, in Jutland, if the bots run under a normal MC as well, now this isn't a step that they're checking for MAC. However, they follow the military capacity as well, I assume. A bot's manpower is calculated in the same way as for human players during setup and updating during phase 5. It said the bots always have a minimum of 3 manpower. All bots manpower reserve counts available. Bots never have exhausted manpower. Bots recruit as many units as indicated by the action they are executing up to the limit of their manpower. If manpower is lower than the number of units they are paid to recruit, the bot still spends the bot power in full but only gets the number of units that remain. Okay, so no mention of military capacity there though. Although it says a bot's manpower is calculated in the same way as for human players during setup and update during phase. Yeah, but that's kind of different. So So there isn't any mention of MC. The only mention of MC is that if you check for Mac, and there's no LAN connection to the bot's capital, the bot's MC for the area, it's the bot's MC for that area plus 3, which would be the Mac. Yeah, see, so it's using bot's MC there. So I think the bot's MC has got to be considered here. I'm going to follow my question up with something else. Okay, so yeah, I think it seems to be the same. So I followed my question up. Just to add to this, sorry, would a bot work in exactly the same way in the example above? I understand it has an extra check that has to be made at times regarding Mac, but for MC purposes, does it work the same? Cheers. So Mix replies, the same. They use MC numbers to calculate their Mac, right? I understand that because it says it in that. Sometimes a Mac is checked and that can deactivate some units in the army, weighing them down, yeah. So that those don't participate in combat. But until that moment, they could have an army that is larger than their Mac. Right, so seems to me that exactly the same. But unfortunately here for the Austrian bot, give me a sec. And I was actually looking at the wrong bit in the military chart. I was saying it was here that they would spend 2 to recruit units, but it's not. It's when they declare war. So when they declare war on the target, they spend 1 bot power to recruit 9 units. But, like I say, they had 2 units at the time. Was it 2? I think it was 2. However, they're in an area, they were in Jutland, and their area only has a military capacity of 4. So they could only have recruited 4 units there. And we actually recruited how many? Right, I'm going to put these back. Let me put these back just now. Right, give me a sec. Right, so that's what the situation was. They had 2. Then they spent the bot power and we actually recruited 9. But my take on that is they can only recruit 4 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what should have happened. And then they carried on and they eventually moved the 2 spaces. Now, this is when I then had to backtrack and check because I forgot about the Mac situation. Because there is a check for Mac in there before they actually move, isn't there? Yeah. So, and their Mac in that area would only be... Oh, hang on, sorry. It would be... Well, it'd be 4 plus 3, wouldn't it? It'd be 7, so they'd be fine. Their Mac is their military capacity for the area plus 3. So they've got 3 plus the military capacity for the area is 4, that's 7. So we check their Mac here, and this is where they would lie units down, so it's a bit different from us. However, they've only got 6, so they're fine, they can move. Now, one other thing I noticed watching back was I moved through this area. Now, we didn't have any influence in the area though, so... And remember, it got changed to the fact that it can move through neutral areas, it doesn't need to stop. And it ended up moving into there and into there. Now, it didn't have any influence in the areas, but is it not if they move through areas where they have influence, they've got to remove it? But it's only if it's there, I think. Where does that tell you? Bots must remove 1 influence from neutral areas they move into, if any, and may not move into neutral areas where they have a claim. Ooh. Oh dear. They've got a claim in here. And that is a neutral area, I think. Well, you know what? I don't think it matters. Because they could only move... What was it? Up to 4 spaces, was it? But they can't move into a hostile area. Move up to 4 spaces to non-hostile area closest to enemy. So I did move them 1 and then 2 into there, but I couldn't. just because I've read that about there being a neutral area where they have a claim. Yeah, and I'm assuming we own that area, so we are neutral. Well, in fact, we don't own it all, do we? So that's a neutral area, and they've got a claim. So they actually would have had to move one. Now, they could go that way, but then they'd have to remove that influence. So let's just say they went 1, 2, and then 3 into here. Into what is it? Bohemia. Right, hang on, and then they're adjacent as well, so that would have been fine. However, they would have had to lose this influence when they moved in their grant. And hang on, this actually becomes active ally. We remove 2 cubes from here. So could they go another way without losing influence? 1, 2, 3, 4. I suppose they could go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they wouldn't need to remove any influence. And that was moving through neutral areas without any claims in those areas. Yeah, I think that's fine. Thing is, see when they're around that side, when we check for the max, see if they were on this side, their max would be better. Army movement. Bots army miniature is only placed on the map when it's required for a military defend action or to face an NPR invasion. Defend action allows the bot's army to teleport inside its own realm if necessary. For the military action, the army can be placed in any of the bot's areas on the map, if not already on the map. When a bot army is placed in an area on the map, the bot's MAC for the area in question is always checked. It's placed in an area on the map. Right, okay. That doesn't help me with our movement from then, though, does it? Well, I suppose you then have to go back to the areas that they're moving through based on the realms, the selection on page 3. So I mean, I kind of have to do it that way because when they get to the end of this movement, hang on, I'm talking rubbish. They've checked their MAC already, haven't they? MAC is checked, can siege in current area, no. Hostile unit, no. Move army up to 4. So the MAC is checked where they stand. Yeah, and I've just done the check, Grant. The check was 7 and we've got 6. You're fine. Does it get checked again? No. So I don't think it matters where he goes. So let's take the route that does not remove any influence for him. Well, I think going in, ending up in Bohemia, I think this would take this influence away. Well, actually, this has already happened then. This has already happened. But as NPR allies with 2+ influence adjacent to the target, it did have, so it would remove the 2 influence and then flip that, and then it got 2 bot power. So that would happen, but there's still 1 influence there. So if we do end up in there, we're going to have to remove that influence. Because it says that. It says, may not move into neutral. No. Bots must remove 1 influence from neutral areas they move into, if any. So rather than do that, let's go the long route then. It makes more sense. I mean, yeah, okay, I suppose I could look which one's alphabetical, but I think even Martin agreed that he picked up on the fact that my movement to get adjacent to the area could have been done differently to avoid the removal of influence. So I think he sort of thought that was a better way of doing it rather than doing it alphabetically. So if I do it 1, right, not go through there though. So 1, 2, 3, 4 into Rhineland. Yeah, And then we're adjacent. We didn't have to remove any influence. All is fine. Yeah, and then when it comes back to the next time we do, he runs the spy action, turns into the military action, and that's when it moves in. But it goes... No, hold on, no. Hang on, no. Does it check the Mac again? It does, Grant. It does. And this is where I'm wondering then. Because we ended up with the spy action. Is this card here? And because we're at war, he was going to spy. And then the spy, because he's not at war with an opponent, his spy just reverts to a military action because he's at war with an NPR. So we go through the procedure again. At war, yes. Right, I'm just jumping through these without going over them. Army size greater than 2 times target strength, yes. Actually, it's only just, because the strength is 6. But that would have been fine. Armies on the map board, yes. And then it checks for Mac again. Oh dear. Right, well that's annoying. Because if I'm here, it's going to check for Mac, and remember these times aren't here yet. This is me rewinding time. So if he goes there, his Mac, hang on. Yeah, because if he does it there, the Mac is the MC for the area plus 3. So his Mac would be 4 here. So 2 of his units would be lying down. Whereas if he was sitting here, his Mac would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus the 3 is 8. So that's quite a difference. Should I be taking that into account? I don't think I've read anything regarding that. So that sort of takes us back to going back to Jutland and actually moving in a way, you know, because I can't. There's nothing to sort of say I should be looking at that, finding the best place to be to get the Mac from. The only thing that's there is move alphabetically. I wonder if I can do this and. Well, what we got Jutland, so where would we move into? This is Lower Saxony or Pomerania. So Lower Saxony would be alphabetically first. That's 1, and it's got to move adjacent. Now it doesn't talk about it moving adjacent with the shortest route or anything either, does it? I mean, it just says move army up to 4 spaces to non-hostile area closest to enemy. Yeah, well, I think even the way Martin had done it that time, he went a sort of roundabout way. Maybe that wasn't right. I don't know. That was his view on how it should be. It avoided picking up the influence. So if it was, did we say Pomerania, Lower Saxony? Lower Saxony, then where could it go next? Westphalia, Saxony, or Brandenburg? Well, Brandenburg would be next, but it's not really moving it closer, is it? I mean, show it then. Oh no, hang on, it can't move into Saxony because of the claim. Okay, so from Lower Saxony then to Brandenburg. Then from Brandenburg, this is Wielkopolska or Bohemia. Then Brandenburg to Bohemia. So in actual fact, alphabetically, it comes around that way. But then it lifts the influence that way, whereas going the other way, it doesn't lift the influence. So, but, I mean, the only rules are alphabetically. The rules don't say avoid influence tracks, do they? Alright, so when I asked the question, just noticed we're about 30 minutes in here. I've not done a thing. But all these things are important to me anyway. I want to play the game properly. That's It's more, well, I always say that the purpose is to have fun, but I suppose that side of things interferes with it. I want to play the game properly, sort of like takes precedence over fun, and it shouldn't. And to be honest, it sometimes can drag me down a little because of that, because you get into some complex sort of bits where even some of the guys, I've seen Mix make certain replies with, that's the way I would play it, that's how I would do it. Not often. More often he's unsure about what he's saying. Because he seems well versed in the rules of the game and whatever. But you can sometimes come to bits where it's like that, What would you take on this just now? I mean, the only rule basically tells us to make this move alphabetically, I think. Now, we can't go through Saxony because there's a claim there. But apart from that, alphabetically should be the way to go, which would take us to Bohemia. We would have to remove this cube, and then next turn, when we checked Mac next turn, he would have a better army. So it would be the better way to do it. If you were playing the bot, you wouldn't mind removing that influence because you would have a full army. If he's over here, his army's going to be cut by 2, isn't it? He's going to have 4. But maybe not. Maybe it's just based on the rules. Well, I'm waiting on a response again, so I've got a question there. So what I'll do is I'll leave that there just now. I'm sure I won't wait long on an answer. Anyway, so it's my turn though, and we know that Norway, we've all took our events are all gone, but however there's only one player past, Austria, but Denmark are going to pass next turn because they've only got 4 bot power, unless we were to give them unless we were to give them a bot power. Now, we did think about this before regarding trade, however, yeah, we're not going to be able to give them a trade, are they? If it had been Austria that needed the bot power, but they've already passed, because wherever we trade, well, unless we got Lubeck. If we got Lubeck, Denmark would score from that. Oh, that's tempting. But it's a gamble, isn't it? It's a gamble. I mean, what I should be doing right now is sieging here with my last turn. Because this is going to be my last turn. No, it's not. We're going to get one more. So, yeah, and there's like 100 things I want to do. I need to remember I'm appointing the advisor as well. So siege in there is going to cost me all my military power. I've only got 3 left. Was I aware of that? Sieging. Right, where's the... Oh no, that's a land activation to siege. Page 28. Right. Yeah, the action's not sieging. The action is land activation. To initiate a siege, a land activation must be taken for the siege option. Sieging is required. From the following steps in order once you have paid the cost of 1 military power for the land activation. So then it's based on the siege strength, Grant. Pay an additional military power for each unit taking part beyond the first. Yeah, we're going to have to pay 2 military power for it. Yeah, that's right. So I really want to do that. And then what I could do is maybe take a gamble and take the trade action. Well, what else were you going to do? Well, we had multiple things. One could have been suppress unrest. We could remove... Oh, that costs military power as well, though, Grant, doesn't that? It does. I'm not sure where that is. Page 16. Pay 1 military power for each of your towns. Yeah. So we'd only have 1 left. Damn. And I I did almost, when I done my change in actual focus, I almost moved one into military, didn't I? From diplomatic, I think. Now I changed my mind. There you go. So that would be good. The other one was change in actual focus. Oh no, we don't need to do that now. We don't need to do that because the Protestant marker infected across from there into Saxony because it had the strength of 4. Yeah. So that is good. Yeah, we do need the 2 military power to do the siege. So the unrest we might just live with. The other thing we could do is move our stability up 1. I can't think. I thought there was something else on my mind as well. Right, I think I'm just gonna leave this guy here now. We know he ends up there, but just when I get my final confirmation here. I mean, that's him went alphabetically, so if it's right, I'll pick that cube up and then he will then be able to move in there with his full army and we can resolve. I can go back and look and check the result of the battle in there because I'm not quite sure how that panned out. Okay, so just jumping ahead though, we're going to do a siege action. So we're going to take a land activation, costs us 1 military power. Now we've got, in our army, we've got this that can siege 2 provinces, and we need to use 1 infantry, so we need to spend 1 more military power to siege all 3 of the areas. So we need 3 occupied markers and 3 of our towns. Right, I'll fix this. Right, so we've got occupied markers down the bottom, we've got our towns in unrest on top of that, and we've got the 3 war markers still there. Now, yeah, this is the other thing, that's 3 more in unrest. Now, we can't suppress unrest them anyway, because they're occupied. But they're not so bad, because we've got our army here. And I remember back now, we lost this when we should have dropped off some of our army in that area. We should have dropped off maybe just 1 unit. Probably had 2 units would have been better because we had 2 towns in unrest. That's just me not knowing the game properly, and hopefully I'll stay switched on to that more now. So that's our siege action done. So when sieging an NPR province, place an occupied token on that province, then 1 of your own towns matching size with unrest side facing up. Yeah, okay. That's it. Still don't have any response to that. So, well, actually, we're going to go back to Austria now. No, Austria have passed anyway, so that's fine. We can work this bit out later. So, over to Denmark, and they are going to pass, aren't they? Yeah, I don't believe I need to look through anything, but they do have bot power left, but it's less than what they've spent, so they're not under attack. The army's not on the map, yeah. They're not at war, they have picked their event, so they're going to pass. So they're going to pass and gain 1 bot power. Oh! Right, hang on. Let me rewind. Because I need to get them the bot power before, so I should do the siege action last, Grant. Right, I'm going to allow myself to take back, because nothing's been revealed, does it? I don't have to roll dice or anything like that. Right, I'm going to leave this like this, because I'm definitely going to do this on my next turn, right? What I'm going to do first, though, before Denmark go and pass, is run a trade action. This means that if this fails and we don't get our turn, then my stability is still going to be at -1, or yeah, we don't need to convert the area though. So it's really just that, isn't it? And I kind of want to take a trade action on anyway because I'm skint. So okay, so rather than do this, we're going to first do a trade action. And then I'll do that next turn. And then if I still happen to have a turn after that, if we do manage to give Denmark a bot power somehow. Well, yeah, if we can trade in Lubeck, like I say, if we trade in Lubeck, they're going to score from that. So that's what we need. We need to see Lubeck. Right, so I'm going to spend... I'm not going to bring military power back or anything like that. We're just going to leave all that set and spent. So I'm going to spend a diplomatic power. And we're going to do a trade action. So we are looking for a Lubeck card. 1, 2, 3. Right, come on, let's get lucky. Right, I'm not looking yet. So I've got wool, dyes, and copper. Wool, dyes, and copper, right. I've not looked, I'm looking now. Looking for Lubeck. And not seeing it. Damn. North Sea as well. Oh, that's terrible. We've got nothing. I mean, it's not just now Vienna's there, but I think that means we have to have one of these because it's a secondary node. That's the only thing I can look at. There's nothing else there. North Sea, Sevilla, Black Sea, Indian Ocean, Ivory Coast, Black Sea, East India's Black Sea and Kazan, but Vienna there, and you've got Novgorod. Well, that's not any good to me either. So, but I think I need to look the rules up for this. Hang on. Yes, I think it's secondary trade nodes here. It's here. This is on page 35. All about trade. Some trade cards have secondary trade nodes listed in parentheses below one or more of the primary trade nodes. That's what we're talking about here. If the active player has trade power, excluding key provinces. I don't understand that. That does mean trade power, doesn't it? Right, hang on. Right, it does mean trade power. So if the active player, which is me, has a trade power excluding key provinces, okay, so yeah, of course their key provinces are only related to the Black Sea, aren't they? So excluding key provinces, not exceeded by any other player in an eligible secondary node. Well, there's no other players, there's just the bots. They may select that node and collect trade income from the lowest income row in the trade card. Yeah, okay. We can only select it from the lowest. Well, the lowest is 6, which would do me. Pay off one of their loans, maybe. Actually, no, I think I'm going to spend more money anyway. No other player gets income from the secondary node. Selecting a secondary node also triggers trade income from the associated primary node for all players. Okay. Other than the active player that are able to collect income there. If there is a pirate in the secondary trade node, it may not be selected. Okay, and there's an example there. Generals listed as secondary node. France has 4 bot power and Castile has 3. Genoa, Castile can move a merchant there. Yeah, I mean that's when there's other players. I'll check what the bot does regarding secondary nodes, but I mean none of the primary nodes are going to be applicable to the bot either, if we were to use them. So what it means is we need bot power in Vienna, which we have. We've got 1 bot power. I mean, we only need 1 because you're only going to get the lowest column anyway. So I think we are getting this. I'm not sure if the bot's going to get score on this though, because it does say that no other players get any income from the secondary node. But this is a bot. They might, and I would need to have. Yeah, if the active player has a bot power not exceeded by any other player. Yeah, so if there was another player here and we had only a bot power 1 and they had a bot power 2, I don't know how you would get that though, because you're not counting these. I'm not quite sure how you would get more bot power than one. You just get it from your merchant. Well, I suppose if they were in the water, you would have more ships, maybe, something like that. But there's none of that. Okay, so, and I get to 6 ducats here. So, what does it say about the bot regarding, does it say any secondary nodes then for trade? Humans trading. When a human player takes trade action, eligible bot realms may collect passive trade income as follows. In an inland trade node, all bots gain 2 bot power if they also have at least one town adjacent to the selected node. Yeah, but it says in the main rules. Does it say anything about secondary then? But I'm not seeing anything about secondary trade nodes. It's not required to have a merchant there. It just needs to have towns adjacent. Well, obviously Austria's scoring us if they are getting to score it. It feels like another question brewing. Man, that is quite clear when it says, I can't remember what page I was on. Oh, there we go. 35. No other player gets any income from the secondary node. I mean, the bot is classed as a player. Well, a player realm. Yeah, I still think it merits a question, I think. Certainly by Grant's question standards. Okay, I'll go and do that, and we can move on as well, because Austria either getting 2 bot. I mean, they don't need to move their merchant; he's already there anyway. So they're either getting 2 bot power or they're not, basically. We, however, well, may as well resolve this. We're getting 6 ducats, so that was fortunate. Yeah, because the cards were terrible. It didn't do what we were trying to achieve, unfortunately. So now Denmark are going to go and pass, and yeah, well, that's going to be that. Well, we could, well, I might as well go and pop the question out there as well. So, hang on. Right, so question posted then. So that was us doing the trade action instead of the siege. So now there's nothing to stop Denmark from passing, so Denmark are going to pass, and they will be first player next turn. Yep. So, well, actually, yeah, Austria's going to be the 3rd player now. I will be 2nd, won't I? I'm pretty sure that it just stays the same order clockwise. I don't think they would want you messing it up, like as in, because Austria passed 2nd, they'd be 2nd player. I might have that wrong, like. It might be that it goes Denmark, Austria, and then me. That would just confuse me, though, so... And my guess would be that that's... And it's probably written in the rules to tell you that that's not how it's done, but... okay, so they passed. Austria have already passed, obviously. So now we get one more action. Well, we've already done it, and then we've got to pass. That's us. But when we're passing, we're going to appoint an advisor, I think. Move things out of the way here. So we've got... Yeah, we're not going to mess with these. We're going to appoint this guy as an advisor. I mean, he's not great, but it's one. It's going to cost me 1 ducat, which means I then can't pay off any of my loans. So, come down here. I do have the light on. Hang on, the light could go off. It's a bit dull outside today, though. A bit of a rainy day. So, just the kind of day you want to be sitting playing board games. So we're going to appoint him. It's going to cost us 1 ducat. Well, I'm not able to pick that up. There we go. And that's all we can do there. So we can't pay off any loans. We've only got 5 ducat less, so we're going to have to suffer 3 of them. I mean, we don't have much upkeep advisor-wise. But, yeah, I think that's all. I think that's everything. I think that's going to be the end of the action round. I believe. Yeah, we done our siege. We had paid for it all and whatever. I mean, we've got loads of administrative power. Well, we're only going to get 1 administrative power added this time, so diplomatically we're going to get 4, and military we're going to get 2. Actually we're going to get 5 diplomatically because of the advisor, and only 2 military, which I would have kind of liked maybe the other way about, to be honest. I think I want some military power. Anyway, so that's the round finish. I wonder if I should maybe just stop the video here. Hang on. That's already passed. Yeah, we didn't benefit from passing. Yeah, again. Well, I don't want to. I want to keep going. I don't want to pass, but you get forced into it. So you need to do the important things first, Grant, not just mess about. I think I made mistakes in that last round, and I only got fortunate that this turned Protestant, to be honest, or things could have been worse. Right, so action phase is over. Now, I'm slightly reluctant to use that. Well, there's no point in having printed it out if you're not going to use it, Grant. It's just I must have skipped by because there was 3 different bits that I missed. End of the action phase is triggered. Yeah. War Tucker events. Right. I'm going to go through this. So we are moving on to the Peace and Rebels phase. Next turn. But I will just cut the video there. I've not had any response to my questions. Maybe they're getting fed up with me. I'm sure that's not the case. Well, they might be getting fed up with me, but I think they would still answer the questions. So, so we do have Austria's sort of army sitting in the wrong place, don't we? I was just thinking back there, when Austria's army was in here and we moved it back to Jutland, was that right? I think it moves back to the nearest area, and that would have been Jutland. I think that was right. Yeah, I think so. But anyway, it should be in here, but its army might be slightly different from what it is, and that's just what I want. And this influence might be away. I just want to... It's a kind of annoying place to leave it. Yeah, I would have liked to have got that answer at least, but... Oh, you've not. Okay, I'll fix it. I'll fix it in the next term. Yeah, I think I'm going to take a break just now. I'm going to get something to eat. And then I'll fix it in the next turn. Okay, what is this? This is part 59. Right, so we'll sign off to that and then come back with a big part 60 next turn. And that's us moving at the end of the round. We still have one more round of this age to go. So I'm hoping to get that played a bit more today because I do have time to do stuff. So I'll be back in a bit. Okay, cheers.